right, we're here with Jay Kennedy. It's Fat Cat Funnies here at the Southcoast Toy and Comic Show here in Swansea, Massachusetts. Venus de Milo, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, how are you? Am I like on camera right now? Or?
Yes.
Yes, okay, hi, how are you?
Very good. You said you mentioned before we started filming here, you're coming from the Boston area.
Yep.
What is it like meeting fans up close and personal at events like these?
Oh, I love doing cons, man. It's super fun. You know, because I'm a giant super nerd myself. Like I picked up like this adult porn comic, and I got an Archie Christian comic from Christian Spire. This company was crazy back in the 70s. And that was what I got. And yeah, I'm just a giant dork, and I love hanging out and seeing what people are into these days.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your work here and the different types of art that you
mostly
work in?
my comic series is a horror comic, kind of like Lovecraftian horror. And I do little paintings for everybody, and you know, I just enjoy doing stuff like this, honestly. This is what I like doing, just hanging out and painting and talking about nerdy stuff with other nerds.
Who were some of your inspirations when you first got involved?
Bruce Timm, Wally Wood, a few other people. Mark Oakley from Thieves and Kings. He's an artist from Canada, real small indie K, and those people really meant a lot to the younger Jay. And now I'm doing my own kind of thing, kind of really into Lovecraftian horror, and that's kind of the thing I'm doing right now. And you know, just enjoy doing hanging out with other nerds, talking nerdy stuff, you know, as I said.
And is this something you've been into since you were a kid, or and you're more in your adult life?
I always read comics.
Right.
I was always reading comic books. But yeah, I guess it kind of genesis from just getting to hang out and talk to my buddy Ian Nichols. We met first or second year in college, and we've just been hanging out ever since.
Is this your first time with the Altered Reality Entertainment Group?
No, I've been with them since the beginning, relatively. And for some reason, they keep inviting me to these wonderful events of theirs, and I keep showing up.
That's great.
Yeah, I know. Those guys have been really supportive of us for me for many years, and I really do appreciate it. Those guys are real nice dudes.
And obviously, this also being a collectible show as well. Growing up as a kid or even into your adult life, any collectibles that stand out, things that you've liked to collect over the years?
I'm just such a huge comic book fan. I'm mad about that stuff.
Yep.
Just this week, I got a Shazam comic from 1948. I found it at a consignment shop, and I got it for like literally nothing. And the week before that, I got a D&D book that was had to be rushed out of print because they had stuff that they thought was public domain but wasn't. It was the first generation of deities and demigods, and they published material that wasn't in the public domain, which they thought was in the public domain.
Gotcha.
So they printed 1,500 copies of some nerd book that they couldn't reproduce or reprint.
And where can fans follow you as far as social media or a website?
Facebook, and I have a website, and you can just Google my name, and I'm sure I'll pop up. You know, otherwise I go to a ton of cons, and I'm just always kicking around. So come over and say hi and tell me what you're doing, you know?
And in closing, where are some of your inspirations from as far as when you're actually, technically putting the pen to the paper?
Well, as I said, Bruce Timm was a big deal to me. Bruce Timm, Batman the Animated Series, I guess some Archie comics, just relative classic 90s ephemera.
And a piece like you're working on there, how long would you say to complete something like that?
Oh, I don't know, 3 hours or so, I think.
Okay.
I mean, I'm really dogging it in with this one. I'm going real slow, trying to make sure I do it right the first time, that sort of thing. This is a painting of Iron Maiden's Eddie from Iron Maiden. It's for a guy for a dude. Since I'm a huge metalhead, I'm trying to go kind of slow and give it the right time. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's my bag. Just going nice and slow. But I'm such a general nerd. I listen to everything. I listen to heavy metal and I watch cartoons and all that shit. That's kind of what I'm about right now.
Sure. What is do you have like a special request that a fan has had you do before that kind of took you by surprise, or maybe the craziest thing you've done? Or something you didn't think you'd ever work on?
It's always like I try to get one cool commission every show. Like, a lot of people could do a Deadpool, but a lot of people do Deadpool over and over again, but it just surprised me if somebody asked me to do something like Darkwing Duck or something.
Sure.
Something way the hell off my path,
Right.
But I would love the idea of doing something like that. Anytime somebody comes up to me with either a D&D character or something that they made, I usually enjoy that a little bit more than a little bit more generic characters. But I have such fun, I never got to do Iron Maiden's Eddie. So this is a bit of a treat for me because, again, as I said, I'm a bit of a metalhead myself. So, getting the chance to paint this for a guy and hopefully I make his day.
Excellent.
My paintings are relatively cheap compared to others of the same ilk. So hopefully, I just want to be a good deal. I want people to feel like they made a good deal,
Well, thank you so much for chatting with us today, Jay, and here at the Southcoast Toy and Comic Show. Thank you so much.
Say hey to me later.
Absolutely.
Thanks, dude.